Doom's expertise to use. Not a deck I'm the most comfortable with, but I'm interested to see how it plays here.
Yeah, exactly that. So when we're looking at those ones, we're going to see who we've got on that one, and then it looks
I think their names are the wrong way around.
Yes, it looks like we've got Sky Striker along the top in the blue, and we've got DoomZ on the bottom.
We do see Sky Striker here starting out with the Engage. Always a strong start for that deck. Hopefully, oh, and going straight into the linkage as well. I think that's more or less the best start you can get on the Sky Striker strategy, going straight into the Ace-0. Such a powerful card for the strategy as well.
Yeah, I really love the new cards that were received. And actually, funnily enough, it was received earlier on this year. And then all of those, even the Sky Striker Ace-0 was available in the Legendary Modern deck. So what this gives you is it's a brand new Link 2 monster that gives you the ability to either search out a Sky Striker card, which is exactly what we're about to see here, or you can tribute it off to special summon a Rose and a Ray directly from, I believe it's the deck and graveyards, and that will give you the ability to then non-target destroy a card on the field. So it can be a very, very powerful disruption and also a very, very powerful consistency piece.
Going to see, what are we searching here? I'm not really noticed what we're searching with the, was that another, oh, so of course we added the Engage off of 0. No, we're adding the Lemnis Gate here. Another fantastic card for the strategy added in Duelist Advance actually a while ago. I find it interesting, a lot of the cards for this strategy came out about a year ago and it's still showing up very powerfully, has not been crept out of the format in the slightest.
Yeah, I really like Lemnis Gate because it was a kind of card that when it first came out, a lot of duelists were only on one copy of it. And then when they kind of adapted a little bit more, people started to realize how good it was for recurring your resource, but also providing you with a non-target disruption, which in the past, a card like Red Eye's Dark Dragoon was such an incredibly powerful card for Sky Strikers to try and deal with because of that built-in targeting protection. And we were able to answer that directly with the introduction of Lemnis Gate to give you that way of being able to remove a card on the field, and not just one card, but multiple cards sometimes without targeting it.
We do have another linkage coming out here for retrieving yet another Engage. I think we've yet to see an Engage into an Engage yet, but it's got to happen at some point this weekend, surely.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've got enough spells set up in that graveyard now that we're going to start to draw some advantage off of the back of these Engages, and that's exactly what we're going to see here. It looks like there's no response from DoomZ at the moment, but DoomZ is quite an interesting strategy right now because DoomZ themselves have this ability to, again, as we've previously seen this format, not need to rely heavily on hand interactions themselves.
Not at all.
So, very interesting in this list. There's a couple of cards that are not featured.
They do play through an awful lot of disruptions, as you say, as well. Like I find, I've noticed a lot of the builds don't play a heavy non-engine at all. They only play kind of the bare essentials like the Mulch Armies and whatnot. As we say here, not even Ash Blossom in the main deck, which is interesting.
Yes, it's a very interesting approach from this one on the DoomZ side, but what you've also got to try and keep in mind is that Sky Strikers themselves doing the classic Shizuku end phase, getting access to the Sky Striker drones, which will give you a follow-up for the next turn, but also those 4 set cards along those spell and trap zones is definitely going to give something to keep an eye on.
Seeing here, I believe we've drawn for turn here on the Doom side of things. Going to see how they deal with this, because I think we saw the Widow Anchor be added to hand. We saw the Lemnis Gate. Probably saw more that I wasn't paying attention to, but we do have 4 set cards in any deck is very powerful, and the Shizuku on the field is by no means anything to slouch over as well.
Yeah, so this is the one thing that we've seen with the strategy of, you know, decks preferring to use field breakers as opposed to hand interactions themselves, is that most of those field breakers are designed towards the monsters, because when you consider cards like Sewer Polymerization, you consider cards like Forbidden Crown, Forbidden Droplet, all of those cards are centered more towards the monsters. So the spells and traps themselves kind of go, you know, there's no Lightning Storms, there's no Harpy's Feather Dusters, and being able to kind of utilize those in the best possible way can definitely give the Sky Striker the edge here.
And we do see the Fallen of the Virtuous, a powerful, splashable card in many different engines coming out here, targeting the, I believe that was
DoomZ Raiders.
Thank you,
yeah.
I'll double check on that.
So it's very important with the DoomZ Raiders that you need to activate a card like the Fallen of the Virtuous in response to the DoomZ Raiders effect activation.
Yes.
Because you can only activate one of the effects per turn. So if you were to, for example, use Fallen of the Virtuous a little bit too early and destroy the Raiders will then get its on destruction effect. But as we've just seen here, Jamie has expertly waited for Nathan to declare the DoomZ Raiders effect first.
Yeah.
So that's the first effect activation. And then obviously, because it's a continuous spell card, no longer faceable. The DoomZ cards have destruction effects. You need to be very careful with how you're utilizing your field breakers and everything else in between. So we're going to see who's going to be starting us off. I would imagine DoomZ are, and they're going to be starting off with the Power Patron Terminal.
Also a very powerful card that we have, I think, new in Blazing Dominion?
Blazing Dominion,
there you
correct.
go, thank you. The last two started with B, and I get confused. But yeah, very powerful card in a lot of different strategies. All of the Medius decks can use it to great effectiveness, and it's fantastic to see getting started here. Summoning the, I believe that is that a mouth?
Yeah, so that's that's 7. So that's trying to remember the exact name off the top of my head. I think it's Alara.
Alara, thank you.
There we go. So this is what I love. So the brand new XZ that we received, and all of these artworks will look quite familiar to you because, as we mentioned, the Medius, the pure kind of lore overlaps. So going into the brand new rank 5 Glyphario, kind of seems familiar from one of the monsters that is in the Archmage deck strategy.
Hey, I know him.
is actually incredibly powerful for the deck because you get the ability to destroy a card as well. And the benefit of doing that is you can detach a material from this card, you add a DoomZ spell from the deck to hand, which gets us access to Raiders here, but then you can also destroy a card on the field, including itself. Then if it is destroyed via card effect, which exactly what's happening, you get to special summon a non-XZ DoomZ monster directly from the deck or graveyard. So that allows you to turn your Alara, which we've just seen here, in order to go and work its way into the level, or the DoomZ 5, the Amalith.
I do find it very interesting that in my mind it plays somewhat similar to Fire King, for example.
Yes.
In that you want your own cards to be destroyed, you plus off of that, and it also makes it kind of difficult for your opponent to interact with that sometimes, because you might not necessarily want to destroy those cards.
Exactly that one, and I think this is what we've seen here is that the Amalith has been able to add the Drastrius, and the Drastrius is just an incredible card for this deck as well, because this one does something that is kind of quite unique in how it works, but you target a DoomZ card you control, so anyone, whether that be the spell or one of the monsters, and sometimes in scenarios maybe a trap card, you special summon it from the hand, and then you get to an equipped spell directly from the deck. Now, not just specifically a DoomZ equipped spell, but any equipped spell. So I remember prior to the new support we received, there was Angelica's Ring being used.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of talk as well of things like Premature Burial being used in certain builds. Just the fact that it can just do generic equip cards really does open things up a lot, actually. It makes me think of the Fairy Tale one, which I don't think would particularly work very well, but hey, you could.
I've kind of explained this deck a lot to some of my friends, is that it's kind of like this perfect mix of like Noble Knights and Infernoble Knights with the Fire King strategy as well, like you mentioned. And when you see hybrids and strategy styles of decks like this, it does make it very, very awkward, because being able to manipulate different equip spells in a deck, but also being able to manipulate different destruction effects and benefit off the back of them can make it quite tricky for your opponent to deal with. And the next best thing about this deck as well is it can work its way into the Furions, which we're exactly about to see here in the Spring Guns Merrymaker, into Spring Guns Champion Sargus. And Sargus is now going to be able to get us a bit of insulation from a monster effect, but of course it'd be a spell effect as well, being the Furion King Regulus.
Such a powerful card in any strategy that can run that. It's a bit of, you know what, is it even a brick? Because if you draw it, you can just summon it. It's not even necessarily a brick to have in your deck. It's just not maybe a combo piece, but very powerful card to have on your field at the end of the turn. Still wondering how we're going to play through this from Jamie's side of things. He did try to ash something earlier by the looks of things. Whether or not that helped, I don't. Hey, Nathan's still playing, so I doubt it did.
Yeah, so that ash would have been it kind of, not even a precaution, but that ash is used on the Terminus, and the reason you use it on the Terminus is because that can very quickly snowball into giving you direct access to either your DoomZ engine if you don't already have it, or can work your way into the Vrudras. So what you kind of need to think about is you've traded, or Jamie has traded an Ash Blossom, in a sense, for Vrudras.
Sure.
So...
And Vrudras is nothing to sniff at, so that's pretty, you know what, not bad, not half bad.
So the Enfield is definitely going to be a tad weaker from Nathan, but I completely agree with you. It'll be very interesting to see what Jamie has in order to kind of combat this, especially when we've got the Drastrius, set up. And the idea is that you want to keep this set up so that you get to use it during your opponent's turn as a quick effect to special on a Wind Xyz. But it looks like we're just going to jump straight into it now because that can be a little bit risky. And we're going to be going into the Drastrius.
I don't believe now I'm not sure where you get this from. Like I say, I'm not an expert at the strategy. I know there's the trap, which is effectively like a drawn and lock bird, which again would be fairly devastating against Sky Striker. It's a kind of difficult matchup here for Jamie at the moment. Having said that, it's very possible that he just has Harpy's Feather Duster, Lightning Storm. There are ways to out that at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, with Nathan setting 3 additional cards here, I'm just having a look at their current deck list, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see because there's a lot of very, very powerful trap cards that could be along that spell and trap zone. And as you already mentioned, the DoomZ Destruction, which is the trap card, could already be one of those set cards, which would explain why we've gone into the Drastrius early, because the Destruction needs to target a DoomZ Xyz you control, and you equip this card to it with the following effect. So it kind of allows you to play a little bit around Harpy's Feather Duster, and it means you can do it as early as possible. And I guess we're also going to see if there's anything in the standby phase to maybe use an anti-spell fragrance at this particular point.
Doesn't seem to be an anti-spell popping off here, so it might be that Jamie's in the clear on that front. This might still be in the draw. I can't. Ooh. That is Droplet by looks of things.
Correct, yeah, Forbidden Droplet. So we're being a little bit cautious here of the Drastrius and the Fearonkin Regulus. So send in a spell
and the Lightning Storm.
Monster.
Oh, Lightning Storm. That might signal he has another one in hand.
I agree. Definitely agree on that one. But then surely in certain scenarios, you'd. Yeah, there you go. That's the exact one.
Wonderful.
Are we going to be? Is it going to be a solemn accusation or a judgment? There's definitely something.
It's something,
here.
something going on.
Oh, okay. Forbidden Gratis, neither of those 2 trap cards.
That is interesting. It does at the very least protect Nathan for the turn, I believe. It's going to be, I mean, you can get over, attack over it perhaps if you have enough attack or attack directly with Hayate. But at the very least, I don't think James is going to be getting game this turn, depending on how this goes.
Oh, and there was the DoomZ Destruction set along that spell and trap zone as well.
But I think this leaves Jamie with 1 card in hand, unless I'm much mistaken. So hopefully it's a good one.
I mean, Engage is always going to be pretty good with that many spells in the graveyard.
If it's Engage, we might be here. We might be doing pretty good here. But we do see Nathan continuing to play here, activating or setting maybe the Power Potion Pendulum from the deck. And there it is, the Engage. Wonderful start here for Jamie on game 2, adding the Ray immediately and then going, yes, can indeed draw a card here. That's a fantastic way to start the game for Jamie.
Yeah, very, very powerful here. Being able to open up those the Forbidden Droplet plus the 2 Lightning Storms as well, and the Engage. We've got the Ray. Ray can obviously give you direct access to that Engage again, and we're pretty much going to rinse and repeat what we saw when the first Engage was activated. Unless there is an interaction from Nathan's hand here that could stop this happening here. So we're going to go into 0. Are we going to be using 0's effect? It looks like we're going to be grabbing another effect here. So we're going to be grabbing an Engage.
Goodness
so
me.
At the very least, we're going to see 2 Engage resolutions here.
I mean, if we go for a Kagara here, we could get the 3rd at minimum.
Yeah.
We could just fill up, because I don't think the game plan here for Jamie even possibly could be to win here. I think it's very much going to be set up and see how you can play through the next turn.
Yeah, so I mean, the Drastrius is obviously currently protected via Crown, Forbidden Crown. You definitely need to get rid of that Fearonkin Regulus, so I suppose that's going to be one of the attack targets for your monsters, and it's currently going to be half its attack stats.
Very much so.
And then we've got 0 to be utilized during our opponent's turn, but just I guess Jamie's just double-checking any effects that might come back in the graveyard.
Good to know what's going on there. Good to keep appraised of what's going on in any situation with this deck. I think just attacking directly there into the Fearonkin Regulus, which again, a pretty good way to go. You got to get rid of that for next turn. You can't really touch the Drastrius, sorry. Yeah. So I think we're just going to wait here and see what's going to be happening for the main phase 2 by the looks of things.
So Nathan's going to be able to get the search off the back of the Power Patron card on this one. So the Power Patrons just work so well with all of these. We've already saw it in the previous, in round number 1 with the Elf Notes. So being able to utilize Geprido, when it goes into the extra deck, you get to add a Power Patron or a DoomZ spell or trap directly from the hand. So straight away, that is going to give something else for Jamie to need to worry about. You could kind of make the assumption that the draws from Engage probably haven't been that effective for him. And maybe trying to work the way into getting something like... maybe we needed a linkage, kind of just to clear off the 0 in order to kind of get ourselves into that Kagari, which is what we're going to see here. Curious if we're still in the battle phase.
Oh, okay. So moving on to the Kagari, we could just go for the... Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Which... I guess, I mean, I don't know what the other card in hand was. I might have missed that. If it's another linkage, I mean, you could attack over the help me out again, Drastria. Get more damage in at the very least. And then if you have another linkage, you can go for maybe a Hayate, but I'm not sure you'd want to do that. But this is, I think Jamie's in a fairly good position here going into turn 3. But then having said that, Nathan does still have a lot of gas in the tank, as it were. A lot of some cards in hand. I imagine some plays from the graveyard. I don't know what the top deck will be yet, and the Drastria is still on the field. So it's not like they're out of the game yet.
Yeah, the Drastria is still going to be quite important here, but we still have this Engage that's going to regain us a little bit more resource as well. So that's going to be the Widow Anchor, so that's going to give you at least some form of disruption during your opponent's turn. And then we've also got to take into account anything else that we could be drawing off of the back of this Engage as well. Like, if you wanted to cherry pick any card as your single card left in the hand, Engage was definitely one of them.
Yeah, very much so.
So we're going to be setting to, I can imagine we're going to be going into Shizuku here just to get us a bit more resource for the follow-up on the next turn as well.
I imagine the set 2, I don't think I saw him add a Lemnis Gate, but I could be wrong on that. I might have just missed that. But yeah, I'd imagine the set 2 is most likely going to be a oh, well, there we go, added to hand there.
Yeah.
So we definitely have the Widow Anchor set at the very least, but it could be something like a Shark Cannon or whatnot.
So this is actually a very common play on the Shizuku sometimes as well, especially if you feel that you're going to be going second, is because not only do you have the direct search of the Lemnis Gate, but that ability to kind of allow you to recycle your resource and then disrupt. Even if your opponent clears your field, so the worst case scenario, you always got to kind of prepare for the worst case scenario, how you can come back from this. And that's exactly what we're going to see with Nathan here now as well, is because we still have that draw. We've got a couple of cards in hand. One of them obviously was directly searched off of the back of the Geprido. And there's a lot that can happen off of the back of Terminus as well. And we're going to start off with DoomZ Change. Again, just an absolute incredible card for the strategy on this one, because it lets you destroy a DoomZ monster either on the field, but also directly from the deck as well. So like any DoomZ card, so you can start to trigger their disruption effects, which can be massively game-changing. Yeah,
the card quality for Dooms is really fantastic. In fact, for the Medius archetypes in general, the card quality for all of them is solid. I couldn't say there's particularly a worse one of the bunch, because they all have their place and they all can do something quite powerful and quite strong. Also quite different to each other, which I think is very interesting as well.
Yeah, I do really love these type of archetypes that bridge across different strategies. You kind of take it back to like the branded era as well. So you ended up having Fallen of Albaz, but then you had Spriggans, you had Sword Soul. There's just so many different options on that one as well. And then you also look at the kind of Kashtira one as well, where you had Tearlaments, you had Manadiums, and then the Kashtiras themselves. So all of those being different kind of archetype based. One wanted to focus on XZ summoning, one wanted to focus on Synchro summoning. So I just really like these, and bridging the story across is just really, really fun.
I'm still waiting for a little bit more Dear Bellstar lore, just because I want more Goblin Backer cards. I want more Goblins. Give me more, give me more. But we see here the summon of the Doom's Power Patron here.
Yep.
The pendulum one, not the little guy, the big guy.
The Geprido.
There you go.
So this is actually quite good on the field as well, because it has the ability to destroy itself and destroy a DoomZ. And in doing so, again, it will put itself face up in the extra deck, and off the top of that, again, we're going to start to see a bit more resource snowball into Nathan's favour on that one as well. So there's a lot here for Jamie to think about. At what point do you want a Widow Anchor to negate to try and take control? We've also got the Drastrius that is still going to be sitting there as a bit of a threat towards Jamie's field. So there's always a lot you need to kind of consider the best time to interact to kind of mitigate as much resource as possible. And it looks like we're going to be using the secondary effect of banishing the top 3.
To destroy itself and then summon the Jupiter from the extra deck. I believe with a material attached to it, unless I'm much mistaken.
Correct. So you can attach a material from the hand. So you special summon the Jupiter from the extra deck, and then you also get to attach a card from the hand to it.
But we do see the Fallen Virtues coming out, destroying the Geprido before that effect can resolve.
I'm not sure if that's like that big of an issue for Nathan, to be honest, because I feel like the search is going to be quite important here.
You don't get the Jupiter, but you do get the search at the very least.
And without committing your normal summon, with also having the protection on the Drastrius so that it can't be destroyed once per turn, kind of made that Fallen of the Virtuous was kind of that point where it's like, okay, you have to activate it.
Got to do something here. And there's the Droll and Lockbird. Now, I know that can be detrimental to the Doom strategy. I don't know if it is game-winning here, though.
Yeah, it's really going to depend on what else Nathan have in their hand. But we already know that Drastrius is still going to cause a lot of issues.
Very much so.
And we know that the DoomZ change was added to the hand. We've already used DoomZ change this turn, so we're not going to be able to kind of capitalize on that one. We can make the assumption now that that last set card on the Spell and Trap Zone will possibly be a Widow Anchor.
Yeah.
Which, with the Drastrius being as awkward it is to deal with, it's going to be able to kind of clear some stuff off. But we're probably going to see the classic Ray coming back. We're just calculating how much attack stats changed as well.
This is the thing. It's I find that Sky Striker Enfields don't often look particularly impressive, but they can do a lot just in the battle phase even, because you bring back the Ray, you use that effect to get maybe into another A0, which then adds more plus and more advantage as it goes. So it does just kind of keep snowballing and going, even though it might only look like one monster and a couple of set cards.
Yeah, exactly that. Their resource management. You see a lot of consistencies with the decks that are going to be like towards the end, and the top feature of today as well is that their resource management is going to be very, very important. And both of these decks here are really, really good at that.
Do see here? Do we see the this Drake coming back? Am I being silly? I might have missed that.
I would assume Ray has attempted to come back, and then in doing so, you have the ability to detach material from the card off the Drastrius, negate that effect, and then you can also equip to face-up monster your opponent controls, which at this moment in time there is.
And it's still untargetable currently because of the attached material as well.
Correct.
That is difficult. That's tough. Having said that, it does only have one more negate, and after that, it's targetable. So I believe it attaches for cost, unless I'm much mistaken.
Correct, it does, yeah.
And therefore, as soon as that's gone, activates the effect, you can Widow Anchor it. So next turn, Jamie's in the green on that front.
Now, I'm just trying to confirm on this one, because we also have the additional applied effect because of the Doom Durg equip spell. So during the standby phase, inflict 500 damage to the controller of the equipped monster, but it's no longer equipped, it's as a material. So while it is a material to a Wind Machine XZs, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects in general, and then once per turn, quick effect, you activate this effect to destroy one other face-up card you control. For the rest of this turn, this card gains attack equal to its own level or rank times 100.
Interesting, but that is one of... Oh, are we winding back a little bit here?
Yeah, so I believe the Drastrius negates the effect. It doesn't negate the activation. So I can only imagine that Ray was activated during the damage step because obviously
of course.
Shizuku was destroyed. So we're reversing back to here, but now it does put Jamie in a little bit of a predicament, because if Jamie does try to use the effect of Ray to quick effect turn itself into a Link monster, then the Drastrius will then attempt to resolve or attempt to negate.
We do see the DoomZ Raiders coming here, I believe, which is obviously a very powerful card in the strategy. I'm wondering to see how Jamie will respond, if at all. I wonder if it might just be best just to leave the Ray for the moment. I'm not really sure what to do with this here. Be interesting to see how he plays this out and plays against Nathan.
So I think Nathan's actually in a really good position here, because the one thing you've done by forcing Jamie to make that dilemma pick of keeping the Ray or not is it's actually locked down the monster zones. Yeah. Because you can now no longer use that Widow Anchor while you control a monster in your main monster zone. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 trade-off here.
It does still tribute for cost and it's quick effect, so I think you can still quickly clear it off even if you don't get the summon effect. So it's not the end of the world, but again, more or less actually, if you do try and use the effect, it just kind of gets you to where you were before that was corrected. Which again is maybe not Jamie in the best situation, but it's still main phase 2. It's still, the game's not over yet. It could go either way. Correct.
I just feel that we're in this position here where maybe all of this that is happening now could probably be stopped. And I feel that Nathan's going to now be in this position where we're either going to work our way up to the Glytherio, or they're going to try to utilize effect to destroy that Widow Anchor, and then you have to force the Ray. You're forcing the Ray out anyway.
Yeah. Interesting. I think just destroying the Ray here. Interesting. Okay. I'll wait and see how this goes. But I think that might be Nathan passing turn very shortly, because set 1 and going from there.
Yeah, so we're just confirming that, of course, the Drastrius cannot be targeted by the Widow Anchor, so that's not really that much of a threat. The Deactorus could only destroy the Ray on that one, because it has to destroy monsters. So I suppose that's kind of the usefulness there. And I assume that Jamie didn't want to utilize Ray, but I kind of feel, do you just use Ray anyway to at least use up a material?
I think you use it to get rid of material, yeah. Because again, going into the next turn, it wants to negate again. It has to detach the spell, and then it's targetable.
Correct.
So I think you want to generally use up that material just to make sure it's not done the following turn. But we do have the set from the Fall of the Virtuous there as well. Gonna check here. Wonder what he drew for turn. He's reading the cards. Got to make sure you know what's going on. Very important to do when you're in a situation like this. You need to know what your opponent's playing and how best to play against it yourself. I do wonder how he's going to play through this and what that top deck was. Hopefully it was another engage. We will see.
I mean, the final engage, the heart of the cards will definitely be with you on that one. I still feel that it's been actually quite fascinating to watch, because I think both duelists are starting to understand how much of the grind these decks can do. I mean, Jamie was probably in a position where after duel number 1, it's like, okay, I'm feeling quite comfortable here. The Dooms might not be able to easily break this, but Nathan's held their own very impressively here.
Jamie does have the Lemnis Gate in hand still as well, it's worth noting, so there is some powerful removal available to him if he wants it.
I suppose it all comes down to, without having access to Ray, we didn't directly search out drones, did we?
No, don't believe we did. And we did just send the Ecclesia Synchro, the Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon, which is maybe going to be or does it target? I'm not sure if it targets, actually.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Yeah.
I mean, the Lemnis Gate is definitely the way to out the Drastrius here. It's just, have we got... I mean, we definitely have enough, right? Surely. We've got...
Oh, absolutely, at this point.
2 engages, plus
linkage.
Now,
yeah.
They don't all need to be different names, do they, right?
I don't believe I don't believe so, no. I think just any of them.
Yeah.
So even so, it's good to get a variety back in, I suppose.
Yeah.
That does just leave Nathan on a single face-down card, and whatever. There we go.
Yeah.
Scooping it up. Well done to both players. That both